Good morning, guys. It's March 31st, 2021. I cannot believe it's going to be April already and that we're in spring. It's so exciting. We have so much new cross stitch for you. I'm so excited about all the things that I'm going to be adding to my plate. And just looking at my schedule, I should have about 8 items to show you each week, which is awesome. I'm going to jump into the very first new item that was announced last Saturday on Priscilla and Chelsea's channel. It's called Calendar Crates, and it is so cute. It's a brand new club that we will be offering, and with that you get the chalkboard black fabric, which I'm going to show you next. You get all the floss to make it, and I have a couple of pictures to show you. So this piece right here was from Hobby Lobby. The information is on Priscilla Blaine's blog, and what she did is there was a basket on the right, and she talks about how she took the basket off, and you can use this piece for all 12 calendar crates. So I'm actually gonna try to find this online, ship it to her so she can finish all of mine on this, and it's super cute. So what you would do is change out in that little jar seasonally, and then the next picture shows you the additional freebie, and you can just put that freebie on the bottom. It's not a freebie, but it's part of the chart, but it adds to it. So that's the second part, and then the next one is up close of that. So we have this club. I'm super excited about it, and that little garland is so cute. I might have to buy that little garland. So it's a club. It's called Calendar Crate. So here is, we pulled the thread for the first one, and this is great colors. I love those colors. So this is the first one, and a calendar crate is just a name they came up with. It's not like an actual item, because we had a lot of people asking us what a calendar crate is, but it's just a cute name they came up with. And there are going to be 12 pieces, so when you sign up, as that item arrives to Fat Quarter Shop that same day, we're going to ship out the fabric, the floss, the pattern the same day, so you'll be the first to get it. And I would love to know if any of you have any questions on it. I love this blue. Sometimes Americana blue can get a little funny, a little dark, but I love this. So, and you will need 2 bamboo for each of the patterns. So let me know if there's any questions. I'm so excited. I am going to make all 12. So, and they're bigger. They are bigger than the Trucking Along, and it is their follow-up to Trucking Along. Since they finished that series, this is going to be the next series, and then I'm sure there's going to be something after that. So eventually our whole house is going to be like all Priscilla and Chelsea and all Lori Holt.
From Crafting and Plan Life, what all comes in the club?
So in the club, you get the pattern, all the floss, and you get this big piece of chalkboard black Witchell, 14 count.
From Cheryl Howard, is there any way to get actual black Aida instead of the chalkboard black?
So we're only offering chalkboard black this time. In the future, we're going to do something a little bit different. But on this club, we kind of already launched it. But we will be selling the pattern separately, and you can always buy the floss from us also. So the same day after we ship it to clubs, then we will put the pattern online after the club ships, and then you can just buy the pattern from us, and we will have plenty of floss in stock.
From Donna Regal, do we have to re-sign up in place of Trucking Along?
Yes. So this is completely new. Yes.
And from Ryan Nedig, will the pattern for calendar crates be sold individually?
Yes.
And then from Jennifer Daniel Johnson, do you get a full packet of chalkboard black Aida?
Yes.
Is the Aida 14 count?
Yes.
And how many skeins do you get a month?
Well, let's count, because it's right here. 7.
And fun comment here from Ann Jang. They say, hi from 30,000 feet in the air, currently over South Carolina.
Oh my God. That's awesome. That's one thing that I don't know how to do. I don't know how to do the Wi-Fi in the plane.
I think it depends on the plane. Sometimes you have to pay extra to use any website.
I know, but I don't even know how to do it. So if I'm not with my kids or something, I'm just oh yeah, there's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
My kids know how to do it, but if they're not with me,
yes.
And I haven't been on a plane in so long that, I don't know. I never know how to do any of that stuff. I just gave up. Like a long time ago, I was like, you know what? Just pretend it doesn't even really exist. Because I never know how to do it.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, I'm curious if anyone else has ever watched us on a plane as well, because this is the first time I've heard of it. That's awesome. And then, question from Crafting and Planned Life: will it always be on chalkboard black, or will there be other cloth?
So we're on this club just offering chalkboard black. In the future, we might offer a different option. If you guys want, and if we have enough interest, we could do just the floss and the pattern without the fabric. But I would have to have like enough of you guys comment and let Lily know. I'd have to have like a significant interest to be able to do that.
And then, are they all classic colorworks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what Priscilla and Chelsea love to use. That's the brand they like, so.
And from Lynn Fallis: are they all American themed from Ontario?
No, so this first one is patriotic. I haven't seen any of the others, but they're going to be somewhat seasonal. So I would assume that way you can switch it out. You can buy that one piece at Hobby Lobby. I think it's $59.99, and they don't have the coupon anymore. But I'm going to buy it and ship it to Priscilla, and then that way she can just finish them all on there for me.
And then just a couple questions we got before the live stream from Sally Johnson. Fat Quarter Shop: will there be a video tutorial on the Sew by Row that coordinates with the Stitch by Row by Lori Holt?
No, on that's just a block of the month program that's quilting, and I will show you my rows and my blocks as I do them, but there's no tutorial because that's a paid pattern. And it's also not my pattern, it's Lori's. She just worked with us to get all the fabrics selected. So I'm going to show you my blogs, and if you have any questions on the piecing, I can of course answer them on the Friday live stream, but not a separate series.
And for the club, is there an option to opt out of the cloth or the fabric if you want to do something different, or what would you recommend?
That's the thing, is if y'all want a club that just has the pattern and the floss, if enough of you comment, we can offer that. Okay. It just has to be like a significant enough interest.
Okay. And then from Mary893: can you tell me the difference between Lori Holt's oatmeal vintage cloth and vintage country mocha Lugana? Thank you.
It's similar.
It's close.
I don't know the exact difference because it's a manufacturer. I don't know. If you put it next to each other, it's probably similar.
Okay. And then we had a super chat from Marianne Lucas for $10, and she put a little superhero pair.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marianne. And then another super chat from Valeria Bauer for $19.99, and she put a little dancing pair with a top hat and a cane that says, "You are amazing."
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valeria.
Okay, so I'm super excited to let you know that on Monday we released the brand new Lori Holt pattern called Flea Market Flowers. Mm-hmm. So here it is, so you can see how big it is and how significant of a piece it is. She had it professionally framed, so Cheryl stitched it, and it is 11 by 12 if you use 14 count Aida, and if you use the 25 count Lugana by Lori, it's 12 1/4 by 13 5/8. And she listed just DMC. The inside is color, and I'm going to show it to you up close. So this is probably going to be her best-selling cross stitch ever, actually. This has outsold several of her others already, and it was just released on Monday. So this is going crazy. So the way that we're going to do this sew along, I had said it incorrectly last week. So we're going to do, we can do a pop-up, but we're going to go across and then down instead of the way I said earlier. So on June 2nd, you will have the top left done. Week 2 would be the middle top. Week 3 would be the right top. And so I'm going to sew along with you. I'm going to show you a couple of things. So right here, this is Barley 25 count Lugana. Right here. And this is how it comes packaged. Now we have a blog on this, and the blog has lots of information on fabric size and what you would need. So hopefully that is answered on the blog that was posted yesterday. I will be stitching along. Now we're trying something new with this. So obviously we have the pattern. We have the DMC floss. And we have the fabric. Now I will tell you the DMC floss has sold out, but we have it on order. We got a lot in and then it just stopped shipping. So we got to wait for our next shipment to come in because it comes from France. So we get these big shipments and then once it sells out, you got to wait a little bit more. So we have those three things, but we have something brand new that I am so excited about. It is a Flea Market Flowers Floss Keeper. So we had these made in America. These are Lori Holt's and they are this thick. So I would say about a little bit more than 1/4 inch. And the way on the back, it is all, you can put, we made the sticker where you can write on it. So we wrote the numbers on there and then you can erase them and use it again. Or you could put DMC stickers or you can put it however you want. So this is going to be exciting. Now this is not in stock yet. This is the first time we have had these made. They are made in America and we're just waiting for our shipment to come in. So it will be sometime in April. You can subscribe to be notified when it comes in. And we're going to try this and see if this is something that you guys like. But it's really cute in your bag to have it very, matchy-matchy to the pattern. So these are the flosses. Now I'm going to show you a couple things that I have decided to do with this one. And I'm going to show you. Now I have mine on a floss flowers because this is the only one we have. We don't have another one. And so I don't have mine on. I don't have it on there because I got mine from my floss flower buckets anyway. So I didn't buy new flosses. So you're going to see that my floss flowers have a little bit less on them. Like you can tell that that's already been used a little bit. So what I'm going to do that is a little bit different is I'm going to show you the fabric. I am going to use pale gray gingham. So that is a totally different look than that barley that's underneath there. Totally different. So when we do the sew along, that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to put this back up. So Cheryl stitched this and Lori framed it. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this. And I have a couple of color changes. So let's see. So 922 is orange. So I'm changing the orange and the yellow. So these are my colors. They're a little bit brighter than these two. And I felt like this was a little too fall for this fabric, so I'm using these two. And then I changed some of the greens. I am using the same green, I'm just using, I added a lighter one lighter. So these two are used, I just added one more. So this is normally the medium. So I changed the greens a little bit, and we can put on the blog my changes. But I just changed it just a tiny bit. And I'm gonna sew along with you guys, and I am, the sad thing is I'll probably buy this and then move all these over, which is completely crazy because I've already got my floss flowers, but I wish I would have had one of those. They're just not ready yet, and we are so excited to offer that product. It is something I am so excited about. And I have everything already in my bag. I got this bag from Lori. Her friend Christy from Crosshatch Quilts made it. So let me know if there's any questions on the Flea Market flowers. The material is just very, it's sturdy. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's definitely like a plasticky type product.
From Cindy McStitcher, any plans for a needle minder to go with Flea Market flowers?
On this time, no. She does have some needle minders that would match that we can show another week. She does have a big sunflower already that she did with Riley Blake. So I think she's already done her needle minders with Riley Blake on this one.
That would go really well, yeah. Anita Napier says, I can't stitch on the fabric recommended. Is the Farmhouse Aida by Lori Holt a similar color? And if not, what color 14 count do you recommend?
Yeah, I think it's similar. It's a little bit creamier, but it would look perfect.
Yeah. From John Wade, is the Floss Keeper plastic or chipboard?
It's not chipboard. It's some type of plastic. Yeah, it's basically a type of plastic that won't bend too much with sticker on the front and a sticker on the back, but not chipboard.
All right, and then before we move on, I did want to say we were getting an overwhelming amount of comments, which was great, about voting for the club, the calendar crates. So what we did is to tally all the votes accurately, we have put a poll in our community tab. We will be sharing that link with you guys so that you guys can go in there and vote. So make sure, please feel free to comment in here, but to have your vote count, go over to the community tab and the poll's right there, and just let us know what you would like for that.
Yeah, and then towards the end, Lily can kind of tell me the results, and I can let you know what we're going to decide to do.
Yeah.
Before we end, I can make a decision.
Woo, that's exciting, so vote now. And then we had a super chat from... I love it when I can make him really laugh. The super chat from Dot Goose Design Denise for $50, and she says, Happy April Fool's Day tomorrow for me and Miss Gracie. Oh, yes.
Oh, thank you for telling me. I have 4 children, so I'm glad I was warned.
Oh, man.
Oh, I need to play. I always want to play that joke where you like put the like the hair tie or whatever on the sprayer, and then they turn on the sink and it sprays them.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm afraid it would like spray my nanny and she would kill me.
Oh, no. Yeah, I am not a fan of April Fool's Day. I dread April Fool's Day. I don't like getting pranked. I always believe everything everyone tells me. It's terrible.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing I wanted to show you was what we just finished, which is Lori Holt's Prim and Proper. And let's see, I have mine finished. So I used the AuriFloss Prim box. It's the 3rd project we used it on. And I stitched my piece on 14 count Sandcastle Aida. We're expecting that to come back in stock. Witchell's just super behind. They're behind on a lot of their colors, not just this one. So even if we have had it ordered, it could be 4 months, 6 months, depending on what it is. But I'm done with mine. I'm super excited. I am going to take it to the framer. I've got 4 items at the framer, so I'll wait until those are done, which I think they're going to be done next week, and then I'm going to take this to get it framed. Now, Lori has hers, and I want to show you hers. She's stitching hers with DMC, and the called for DMC in the pattern, and she is using a fabric from her stash. So you can see that hers is on a super small count. So when she's completely done with hers and she finishes it, she's going to mail it to us. And then I'm going to compare hers and mine on the set. And I will probably, text her at the framer and have her help me pick out a frame. So we will show hers and mine compared so that you can just see the difference between AuriFloss, DMC, and then a 14 count versus whatever count she's working on. It's probably like a 36 or 40 count. It's a higher count. And so if you haven't joined us on this is a perfect one to, you can still join. It took me about 22 hours to stitch it, which, oh, that sounds like a lot of work, but it really didn't feel like 22 hours. So let me know if there's any questions on that. I will say I am excited for this to come back in stock, and I'm going to tell you why. What I'm going to do is right here. What I'm going to do is I am going to make this twice. I am going to make this on the fabric I showed you. But then I'm going to go to Lori's house and we're going to pick, there's 18 colors in the piece. we're going to pick 18 Americana colors, and I'm going to make each section in Americana colors and then turn it into pillows that go in a bowl for July 4th. So I'm going to make this twice, and I'm going to stitch the Americana on this fabric. So when it comes back in, I'll have to buy a couple of these, and I'm just going to have Lori help me do pillows. Because there's so much you can do with this. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's going to take a while, just that one little piece. Okay, let me know if there's any questions on that.
Yeah, so a few questions about flea market. From Rebecca Forbes, how do you think it would look on a really pale green?
I think it would look good. You will just have to be careful. There's 3 greens in it. So a light, a medium, and a dark. You can see it right in that one stem, the 3 greens. You just want to make sure that your greens on your stem do not fight your greens on your fabric. And in fact, if you wanted to, you could always make those a different color or something.
Or make them all the same shade. Or
yeah.
From Marcia Style, how about a project bag for the new cross stitch piece?
We don't have a project bag on this one.
And from Dawn Wade, Kimberly, do you think the flea market flowers would stitch nicely on white petite point on gray 18 count Aida?
White petite point, gray Aida. So that's the gray and white dot. My only concern would be that it's got little dots, and you've got these little squares. It might fight it a little bit. So I'm not sure if I would do that, just because I think the circles might get lost in the border.
And then Lori Holt said, "Oh, okay. LOL. When are you coming, Kimberly? That will be fun."
I know. I haven't picked my day.
It was great. We found out when Lori found out.
I told her. She just forgot.
Oh.
But yeah, I have to pick a day. It's really hard because my kids, their schedule is crazy. And then my nephew is graduating, and oh my gosh, yes. He's graduating on a Wednesday night at 8 p.m. I'm like, on the 18th of May, I'm like, who graduates in the middle of May, first of all? Who graduates on a Wednesday night? And who graduates at 8 p.m. at night? That's not convenient. It should be Friday. It should be a normal time of the year, like the end of May, not the week of my daughter's dance.
Oh, yeah. And then from Vicky Woodward, what is the name of the place where Kimberly got the project bag that she just showed?
Okay, so it's on Instagram. Her name is Crosshatch Quilts, and she has an Instagram that she has separately that you have to follow to buy her bags. Okay, so we have another item that we're going to show you. I'm going to show you the pillows. I'm going to tease you with the pillows, the cross stitch, and if you want to see all the quilts in this new book, you have to watch this Friday on our quilting channel. So I'm just going to show you these. Ooh. They're so cute. So if you want to see all of this, you have to come back Friday. So these two, oh my gosh, these are so cute. So this is tease 1. This is tease 2. So you can see a theme going here. And there are quilts, but for the quilts, you have to come back Friday to our other channel. So this is tease 3. So everyone guess what this is going to be. What do you think that means?
Speaking of quilting, Sandra Engstrand shared with us that the eBay bid on yours and Lori's best friend's quilt for Make-A-Wish is at $5,100.
Oh my goodness. So Kevin was right. Thank you so much. I feel really great about that, and then I feel really guilty. I thought it was going to sell for like $750, and Kevin said, no, it'll sell for $5,000. I thought, no way. So Kevin actually predicted. So if you want to know about that, Lori and I made a quilt together where I made half and she made the other half. It was quilted by Gina Tell of Thread Graffiti. On the back is a label that's signed by both of us, and we're auctioning it off where the proceeds go directly to Make-A-Wish. They don't come to us, and I am in awe that somebody would even pay that much for something that I had anything to do with. I think it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think it's extra special because it's made by both you and Lori and signed by both of you. And
Yeah, so we talked about it, and we're going to do it every year. But we'll have to do something different each year, like to make it different.
yeah. All right, and then before we move on, we have a super chat from Christine Ellis for $99.99. And she says, love all things Fat Quarter Shop, and she put the emoji with the 2 little hearts.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. That is so generous. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Okay, so that, if there's pillows, that must mean there's a book. So, this is our new book by Lori Holt. It is a combination of quilts, pillows, and since we're on the cross-stitch FlossTube, there must be a cross-stitch. So in this book, there is going to be a cross-stitch, and I'm going to show it to you now. It's one chart, but there's a lot to it. So in this chart, there are 3 colors. This is the cool version. Cheryl stitched both of these pieces with the DMC listed, and Lori had them framed. The name of the book is Kaleidoscope. The fabric used in the book is bee cross stitch. And so she's taking the look of her bee cross stitch fabrics, which is a combination of warm and cool colors. So this is the cool. And she just got it framed in a very simple frame that has a little bit of distress that came with the frame. So this is one. Now this is the same exact chart in warm colors. So in the book, what we're going to do, I'm going to show them to you next to each other. What we're doing in the book, it's one chart. Obviously, you get these DMC's colors. There are going to also be other colorways that are totally different. What I'm thinking that I'm going to do with mine is some type of denim where it goes from like a light, medium, dark denim. So what I sew might not be what's in the book. I might do something totally different. We are going to start the stitch along for this right at the end of the Flea Market Flowers stitch along, so that we're just constantly doing a Lori Holt stitch along. And I'm very excited about this. I think it's very original. If you look at the center, that little pot is so cute. And this book comes out in May. So if you get the book in May, we're going to start that sew along in the middle of July when Flea Market Flowers ends. So that gives you plenty of time to get your book, pick your floss. On this, I can see so many different options. Like you can do 3 different colors. You can do red, white, blue. There's so many things you could do with this. So I'm very excited, and this is totally different than anything Lori's done before. I mean, but it's got the quilt blocks. You can see the little 9 patch. It's beautiful. So this took her a long time to design. So it's beautiful. We just got it back last night, super late. So we were excited to be able to show it today. Mm-hmm. So let me know if you have any questions on any of that. I'm going to hand these to Denise so they don't get messed up.
People were asking where they find the Friday video.
Okay, so our main focus of the business is quilting. That's where we started 18 years ago. So we have a YouTube channel just called Fat Quarter Shop. So if you want to, I come on every Friday at 9 a.m. and I just show quilting stuff, give quilting tips, show all the different quilts I'm working on. So I show even more quilts than I show cross stitch. So just as many cross stitches I have going, I have just as many quilts going. So I'm on like quilt 23 already for this year started. I only, out of the 23 I started this year, 3 are done. So I got a lot that I show on Fridays. So definitely subscribe to both channels. This is Fat Quarter Shop FlossTube, and then Fat Quarter Shop, just Fat Quarter Shop is on Fridays. Okay, so I want to show you this one also. This is from the Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee book. And this is the quilt. I actually made this quilt that is on the cover. And we made a cross stitch to match. This is stitched on Cloud 25 count. Now I've been stitching on this and I have to find my piece. Where is it? Oh, Sorry. It's right here. I was like, I worked on it last night. So I have this. I put all my floss on The Beekeeper by Lori Holt. And so this is similar to the, let me show you this. Okay, so this is similar but different. The one on the left is thinner plastic but harder. The one on the right is thicker but less hard. One is made in America and one is not. So we decided to do this where we could start making these in America. So I worked on this last night. Oh my goodness, this, I love this. So I'm using 18 count antique white. So the sample that Cheryl stitched is 25 count cloud by Lori Holt. So you can see mine is going to be much smaller. This was week 4. So this is week 4 right here. Week 5 is going to be right here. So I kind of cheated a little bit. So now Lily's going to show you all of the different weeks. So you can see you go across the top and then you start going like week 5 and week 6 is 2 blocks. Week 7 is 2 blocks. And let me look real quick in my book. This took me, it only took me 3 hours to do this little flower. So you can look at mine again. And this one's really nice because it's divided up in really small chunks so that it's actually doable. But you can see when I worked on this, as I worked on this, I started cheating on this block and this block. And what that allows me to do, for example, this week when I finish this, I'll start cheating down here and I'll start cheating down here. So that as I go along, I have a little bit done each week. Like this week, I barely got everything done. I only stitched 10 hours last week. I actually time how much I stitch each week. 10 hours is nothing. Like I got a lot done in 10 hours, but usually I have enough time to stitch much longer than 10 hours, but I did a lot of quilting this weekend. So let me know if you have any questions on this piece. They're both stitched on Cosmo, so the threads are exactly the same.
And for both of the past 2 things we've shown, can they find the pattern separately or is it only in the book?
Only in the book. And we're doing that because we really want to like combine the love of cross stitch and quilting, and by putting it in books, you bring people from the quilting world into the cross stitch world, vice versa. And we really want to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So speaking of Make-A-Wish, this is our Serendipity Make-A-Wish cross stitch. It's completely free. Our next release is tomorrow. And we have raised $52,599.
Oh my gosh. Woo-hoo.
Yay! Plus the $5,000 for Lori and I's quilt. Plus we also auctioned another quilt earlier in the year. I can't remember exactly what that was, but next Tuesday is going to be our 4th Stitchy Talk.
Yes.
And I am going to start row 2. And that's going to be this. And so probably what I will do is I'll pick one color and do all of those to start, and then that gives me a base to build my other colors. So please join me next Tuesday. And any kind of suggestions you have for Stitchy Talk, because I did notice Stitchy Talk 1 got a lot of views and the others didn't get as much. Please tell me what you want to see in Stitchy Talk so I can do more of that, and give me any kind of feedback. And thank you for donating. This piece right here was finished by Priscilla Blaine, and she used the Springbrook fabric, which is the same fabric that we're using in the quilt. And if you want to know more about that quilt, we talk about that on Fridays. And so tomorrow we will have the second release for both quilting and cross stitch.
From Jennifer Aragon, I think this was about Shine On, but correct me if I'm wrong, Jennifer. She says, I'm going to do it on 14 count Aida. Will it be huge?
It will be huge. It will be, I can tell you. I did want to mention we do have these bags that I'm keeping all of mine in, and it's a really nice plastic bag, and it is for the charity. And I am stitching with Weeks Dye Works. So that's what I'm stitching with. Because I don't think I said that. Oh, and we have this cute little charm also. So if you're going to stitch the Shine On 14 count, it will finish at 17 by 20. So you would need to buy a really big piece of fabric and maybe buy something by the yard rather than pre-packaged. Okay, another pattern that we have that's brand new is ours, actually. So we do promote a lot of other people, but we do have our own line of patterns. This one I'm so excited about. We wanted something that was very traditional with non-traditional colors that would feel a little bit more modern. And so these are our colors. That is what I will be stitching with. The fabric that we stitched, where's the piece? Oh, sorry. So I'm going to show you the actual piece. This was, our sample was stitched on this cloth. Now we had a ton of this in stock. It is now sold out. We have had it on order for a very long time, so we should have more, but I'm going to give you a second option. So here it is stitched. Cheryl stitched the piece, and Priscilla finished it, and all the information on finishing this and our charity quilt is on Priscilla's blog, which is priscillas2000.blogspot.com. And this is Prim fabric by Lori Holt, and this is Vintage Trim by Lori Holt. It's just stacked on top of each other, and it is done with hot glue. So what I'm going to do, because we sold out of this, because, you know, we're not doing good at predicting lately. I'm going to use this again. I'm going to use Fabric Flare Gray Gingham. And I am going to put my floss on the Beekeeper because it matches. So I have not done that yet. But our very first week in the sew along is next week. So by next week, I should have the first house done. And I'll probably get to all the way over here because I'll want to cheat. And if I have a lot of time, I'll try to put the word also. So Lily's going to show you our chart. This is going to be a new sew along, so we hope you join us. So for week 1, you'll do house 1. Week 2, house 2, week 3, house 3, and week 4, the top and the bottom. And very excited about this one because it's ours.
Yay.
It's so pretty. I'll just put it right here. And I'm not going to change any of the floss. I'm only going to change the fabric, and the only reason I'm even changing the fabric is to give you a second option. On the channel, I do like to, everything that I stitch, I try to change it slightly in some way, whether it's the fabric or the floss or something, so that it gives you another option from what you've already seen. And it helps you maybe visualize ways you can change things in your house or things that you do at when you're stitching. Because if I come on and just show you the same thing that someone else did, how exciting is that? Okay, so now I'm going to move into, after all of that, I'm going to move into kind of the things that I work on monthly. Now, adding to the monthly, I will be adding calendar crates. Ooh. My very last Trucking Along is May. So this was the first series by Priscilla and Chelsea. And this one is a little bit smaller than the others. So I stitched this top, was my first part. This week, I'm going to do the border all the way around, and then the week after, I'm going to do the truck. Now, I'm not going to do these chickens. There are 3 chickens. There's no chickens. So I see how I replaced the flower right here. So what I did to replace it was I did the entire top except the chicken. And then I figured out how to make it similar to this. So I took a photo of this after I stitched it, and with my iPhone, I did a mirror image and tried to replicate that here. So that I could, because I couldn't figure out how else to do it. And then I'll probably put my dog Piggy on the hood. And if I do that, I might have to have the hood a little bit flatter. And then down here, I will either leave it empty or I will put some of these little, I'll probably put some of these small daisies there. Just because I don't want any chickens. But so this is going to be exciting because in 2 weeks I'll be completely done and I'll have all 12 of the Trucking Along series done. Yay. And behind me you can see March. It is on the shelf. I didn't even get to show it at my house because I showed it here. So it's funny because what I did at my house is I put May up. And Kevin was like, why is May up? It's not May. And I said, because all of the March and April's at work. So we just celebrate different months at my house, which is completely fine.
I love it.
And I haven't changed any of the colors in this one. I'm just going to change the design. Now, in Priscilla and Chelsea's, I rarely change the colors. I usually just change the chickens. This next part, I've been working on all month. And this is a booger. There's no other word for this. So this is a PDF pattern, and this is so much work. I cannot even tell you how many hours I have worked on this thing. So what is funny about this one, let me look in my book, is, let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This has taken 16 hours just to get here. So I didn't change. I'm using NPI silk and I'm using 14 count antique white. I cannot wait to send this to Priscilla to finish it. So what I had originally done was divided it into 4 parts. And what I was thinking I would do is like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. But when I started, it's a lot easier to just go down. So I finished my part 3 here, and then I was able to do a little bit. Now I've still got 3 rows left. So I'm hoping to finish this today. And the funny thing is I got an email from one of our longtime customers, and she said, where's his cottontail? So I sent her a link to the pattern, and she was like, no, where's his tail, his actual tail? And I was like, it's right there. It's just not white.
It's the silhouette, yeah.
Yeah. So there is a tail. It's just right here. So I told her just to make it white. So then it would show up more on hers. So I am going to finish this one. I am going to have a little bit of NPI silk left, but not too much. This is a mess. This is how I have it right now because this is a bitty board. It's a mess. But you can see that I don't have too much left. So I'll have a little bit left to add to my stash, but it won't be a ton. And working with the silk, I just found that using shorter stitch lengths helps it not tangle or unravel. But this one has been, I guess because it's just fill-in, it's been a lot of work. But I'm excited. And I'm going to finish it before Sunday, which is Easter. So it's just not going to be displayed this year, which I'm totally fine with. So there's that one. And then not my last, but my second to last is Farmhouse Christmas. So I have everything in one bag. I went ahead and put my series of patterns, and I did post this on social media so you could see these were Little House Needleworks threads, and these are my threads. And so here, this is where I'm at.
So pretty.
So this one took me 8 hours. And you saw last week that I was almost done, but after last week I filled in, I made the truck, and I think there was a couple of trims on that needed to be done. So that is my finish for April, March. For April, I will do this house, May, the quilt block, June, July, August, September. And I'm doing the border as I go. So I'm super excited. I do think the red is I tried to do a lighter red than Diane, just because my house doesn't have a really dark red, but it still came out pretty dark. But I still think it'll match. So that is that. And then the other item for the month that I work on is gonna start right now, today. So I have been working on the Country Cottage Needleworks samplers that are coming out this year. And if you're in the club, you've already received, hold on, these two, April and May. So I am going to start April today or this week, and I will have I've been dividing these into 3 sections. So that'll be for next week. I'll show you the top of April. And here is Cheryl's all done. So Cheryl already got April done, and April starts tomorrow, so she is ahead. And so the way that I'm dividing it is part 1, part 2, and then part 3. So I will have this part done next week. And I'm using the 16 count Beautiful Beige Aida. She's using the 32 count Beautiful Beige linen. And that is the called for fabric from Country Cottage Needleworks. And so I'm excited because I love both April and May. The only thing different that I am doing is I'm not putting the lines on the windows. And then the next item that I wanted to show you kind of goes with this. This is a previous finish. Aww. So it's a very similar layout. It is by Country Cottage Needleworks, the same artist. And I finished it in 2019 when I started getting back into cross stitch. And I stitched it with DMC, and that fabric is lamb's wool, which I love lamb's wool. So let me know if you have any questions on any of that. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited because I get to take my Spring Has Sprung home.
Yes. Crafting and Plan Life was asking if there is a plain pale gray fabric. Cloth. Sorry, she said cloth. Gray. Sorry.
Gray. So there's a couple. There's Graceful Gray. Pewter. And then I have two new grays. It's actually one new gray. But these are Fabric Flare that we just loaded. This is not as grainy. It's looking funny on the screen, but this is the Aida version, and this is the 28 count even weave, and it is called Gray Bliss. There's also Pewter from Witchell and Shadow by Lori Holt. So those are the grays I can think of. But these are brand new. And you can see these are both screen printed, but they take the screen print differently because of the different fabrics. Now, let me show you on top. On the back of all Fabric Flare is a white, because that's what they print on. They screen print. So like, you do a t-shirt, screen print, it's basically the same thing. And one side is printed. The one thing that I really like about it is it always has the color name on it. So I just make sure when I'm stitching, I don't stitch over it. And then when I'm talking on FlossTube, I can always tell you what I stitched on because it's right there. And it makes it easy for me.
Nice. From Sherry Poslusny, do you think antique white would work for the flea market flower sew-along?
Yes. Absolutely.
And from Jackalope Stitches, will there be another mystery stitch-along for Mania? Thanks.
Yes, there will be.
Ooh.
And it's awesome.
Ooh.
It is so awesome. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. It's Denise's favorite, but it is awesome.
From Anita Napier, would lambswool Aida be a good color for the flower pattern?
Yes. I love lambswool. I should use it more. Yeah.
I feel like 2019 was a year of lambswool for you.
It was. And then chalkboard black. And then now I'm using the gray check a lot. I do that. I tend to, in my life, have trends. I tend to do that.
Yeah, we have seasons as humans.
Yeah.
And Lori Berman was asking if there was a calendar anywhere for when we're live streaming on YouTube, the day and time.
So every week on Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time, I come live on FlossTube. On Fat Quarter Shop Quilting Channel, I go live every Friday at 9 a.m. Central Time. In addition to that, the first Tuesday of every month on the FlossTube channel, 9 a.m. Central Time, I do Stitchy Talk. And for our charity, we're doing the first Monday of each month on the Quilting channel, showing some different block techniques on that channel.
Yes. And from Candy Fletcher, how many hours does it take for you to finish one part on Monthly Sampler?
I can tell you. Let me just find my book. That's the problem with, I don't know where my book is.
You just had your hand on it.
It's right here, sorry. Just had my hand on it. Okay, I can tell you that right now. So I'll look at January or February. So for sampler of the month, it takes me about 9 hours. February was 9 hours. So it takes me 9 hours to do each of the samplers. So that would be about 3 hours each. The middle section does take a little bit longer. So it's about 2.5 on the top and bottom, and then there maybe 4 on the inside. Because the inside has the house, so that does take longer.
And from Dee Dee Freeman, long flight this summer. Do you cross stitch on a plane? And if
Oh
so,
yeah, I
any
cross
tips?
stitch anywhere, everywhere, and all the time, everywhere. So it could be if Kevin is driving in the car, even if we're just going to Subway, which is like a sandwich store that they have the best Subway by our house. It is so good. They have the best fresh bread.
Ooh.
So even if we go there, it's not even 5 minutes. I will stitch if he's driving. I stitch anywhere. Anywhere I can. That bag goes with me everywhere. Baseball, anywhere I go, I stitch. I stitch on a plane. I stitch. My kids know anywhere. I don't ever. If you see me in public, you would rarely see me just sitting around on a phone. That's not. I can't. If I am on my phone, I'm playing Sudoku. I'm not on like social media, so I'm very different. I'm not. I don't know. I can't just sit still. Neither can Kevin.
One small tip I want to throw in there, because we get this question a lot about TSA guidelines regarding scissors.
Okay.
Kimberly, I've traveled on airplanes with her quite often, and she always has her little OmniGrid scissors with her, and those have always been cool with TSA. The actual guideline is that TSA allows scissors 3 inches or shorter. However, with all things TSA, it is always up to the discretion of the agent that you get. So for whatever reason, they do see these scissors and they're like, you know what, no, like, I don't think this is appropriate. They're really sharp. They're not quite 3 inches, which I do believe they are shorter than 3 inches. I would always just go prepared with like nail clippers. There's also these little, what do they call it? Like, they're little thread cutters that come in like a medallion that you wear. You can
Like
use
a
those as well.
necklace.
Yeah, like a necklace, yeah. But honestly, like I said, Kimberly has been fine with these scissors. I've been fine with similar scissors that I've taken. Yeah, that's my biggest tip. But like I said, just always be prepared, and always be kind to TSA.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is my little bag. Bev McCullough of Flamingo Toes made it for me. And this is what is in my bag. I go everywhere with this bag. And then whatever cross stitch I have, I just pull the bag. So I always have this and then another bag. I sit in my car and cross stitch, even at night. Like if I show up to dance, Emma gets out pretty late, I'll just stitch for 5 minutes. I stitch all the time. This week I only got in 10 hours, which is like hardly anything. But the reason why is Emma had a dance competition on Sunday, and it started at 2:30. It was downtown, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to be home at like 6 o'clock. And then I see her at the elevator with like 6 other girls, and she's texting me, we're going to Chewy's. And I'm thinking, what car are you getting in? She's already on the elevator going. I'm like, she's like, oh, in your car. I'm like, well, okay. So then I just like, okay, we're going to Chewy's. And of course, Chewy's is very popular. It was busy, but she had fun and it was fine. But yeah, I didn't get a lot of stitching because I do stitch on the weekends quite a bit. So, and I made a bunch of quilts this week. So excited about that.
Yeah. And one more tip from Ann Inga Koslerich. She said dental floss container is a great backup too if you're flying and unsure if they'll take your scissors.
Because you can just clip the...
Yeah, just clip it off. Do you have any other tips for flying apart from keeping it all together?
No, I really have never had any problem going through TSA, and I don't have any like special clearance or anything. Yeah, I don't fly that often anymore, but yeah, no, I don't have any issues. And you know, if you go through and they take your scissors, well, at the stores, you can buy clippers where they sell the People magazine, because you know there's always those places that sell. I don't know, they're like book stands or newsstands.
Yeah, newsstands. Okay, and from KJ Davis, what is a biddy board for? I see you with them all the time, but can't figure out their purpose.
Oh yeah, I'll pull some out. There's one in a bag right over there, I think, behind your feet. Okay, I don't have one in here. I think there's, oops. I just broke something. I don't know where, hold on. Here we go. Okay, so this is called, this is usually neat, but I'm getting to the end of the pattern. So what I do, these colors are off. I know this is a mess, but this is not usually how it is, but this week, this is my life right here. Woo! Messy! Okay, woo. It's a mess. So this is what I do, actually. Usually when I leave, I will put them, I'll wind them and leave them in little circles right here. You can see that that one actually was in a circle already. And I'll show you. So you just kind of leave them on there and it doesn't come off. So when I'm stitching, usually my dog is sitting in my chair and then I put this on top of him. He loves it. If that's on top of him, he won't move. If I take that off, then he thinks he can jump everywhere and go everywhere. And I just put it on here. It makes it easy for me to organize. And I usually have one in every bag. Sometimes I leave them at home, but usually it depends. But I usually have them in each bag, but sometimes before I come to work, I'll like leave them at home, or, you know, I'll usually have it clean. But that one, I got to get that done today. So I'm like, oh, it's going to be messy.
And then we had a super chat from Goose Design Denise for $50, and she says, Happy Easter from me and Miss Gracie.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Happy Easter. That's this weekend.
Yes, and then Emma's birthday is on Monday.
Oh, my
goodness. Yeah, so I got to figure out, I'm taking her shopping on Friday. She told me, she said, can you take Kaya, it's her best friend, so she said, can you take Kaya and us Friday to, the Domain? And I said, yeah, but don't you have school? She's like, no, we have off. And I get it. It's Good Friday. Yeah. But I swear that kid has off all the time. I'm like, I don't know what school you're all going to because they are always off school. It drives me crazy. Oh so God. I thought she meant just the Hill Country Galleria. And she was like, oh, no, Mom, we want to go to like the Domain. I was like, oh, my goodness.
What's that?
And I said, well, am I going to just drop you off or am I going with you? And she says, well, I don't have any money, so you're going with me. I was like, okay.
I told my mom something very similar when I was her age.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I really, I haven't even bought her anything yet because I don't really, she's like, yeah, she wanted like a computer. And I was like, well, if you can get that from your grandma. I'm not buying a computer. So guys, thanks for watching today. Have a wonderful Easter, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Bye, everyone.